tea I drink with jam and bread. And that will bring us back to dough. Dough, 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 dough. My name is Robert Orwell. My name is Robert Orwell. I'm a musician, a wannabe director, and just in general an all-round rotten egg. I'm 43 years of age. I live in Manchester, the United Kingdom. I've got 5 houses across New York, Paris, France, Berlin, Melbourne, Australia, and where else? Ukraine, Russia. Now, this is going to be one of them react channels. I'm going to react to certain things. And those things are going to be whatever I choose. I may take recommendations every now and then, but don't expect nothing. No sympathy, no generosity. I'm doing this for myself and myself only. And the things that we're going to be watching are, again, all my choice, but we're mainly going to be focusing on filmographies and discographies, with maybe perhaps even a little bit of book reading today on the 2nd of May 2026. I'm not sure when this is going to be uploaded because I don't give a shit. Today I'm going to be reacting to CRAVATE by Alejandro Jodorowsky from 1957, specifically the 31st of March, as it says here so kindly on the Internet Movie Database. It also goes by the name Le Titre Interverti, which, what does that translate to? Which translates to the transposed heads, or the severed heads, which worldwide it's known by the severed heads. This is Jodorowsky's first film, and I'm going to be going through his filmography, as I will be also with Creedence Clearwater Revival. So we're going to start off all nice and simple with this, how long does it go for? With this 20-minute short film. Have I seen a lot of these films before? I may have. Okay, this one isn't a specific first reaction. I've seen this one before. But, you know, I've never watched it and commentated on it, so this is more of a commentary. Why should I be the one commentating over it? I don't know, I'm just a human being who loves everything and everyone. It says that it was shot between 1953 and 1957, which is a very strange time frame in the cultures that I'm used to. Because it's before the Beatles, after jazz, it's kind of in the middle when things were starting to just bubble up. Rock and roll itself, which is the genre that I gravitate mostly towards. It is a mime adaptation of a book called Transposed Heads. I believe a German book by an author called Thomas Mann, which was written in 1940. Am I going to read that book? No. I don't think I need to read this. All I need to do is watch it. Again, with reading books, I will read books in the future. Like as a, an audio book thing. Because, I've got a nice voice every now and then. Depending on what the weather is and how low the temperature is. 3, 2, 1. credits. I dig the kind of DIY way that they're done. The fact that they're not superimposed. There he is, Alejandro Jodorowsky. It's wonderful to see him so young. The music is cute. Mainly accordion based and acoustic guitar. You know, it is very mimeful. Again, I think the art decoration is it's cute. And it's definitely comedic in style. Like overdone, as a movie like this should be. And the fact that the sets are obviously painted, but still with a pretty darn wonderful attention to detail. I suppose there's a slightly unnerving quality to the fact that the severed heads are just staring. And it's amateurish in a way that is admirable instead of something to laugh at. It's interesting that it's called La Cravate, because I first heard of cravats from A Clockwork Orange, the novel. The fact that cravats were a huge, well, not a huge, but a big part of the outfit design. And seeing all of this, it is interesting to imagine what the book would entail. But it's just a absolutely wild idea. It's wild in just the fact that it's about confidence in how we see ourselves. The fact that our faces aren't perfect for our bodies, so I want a completely different face. We all have a good old one-sided relationship. I love the swirl on her dress. I think that bit is wonderfully done. It's comedic in how they're, portraying it. But it's something that I bet a lot of people go through. To kind of push and pull. And pulling someone towards you and then pushing them away. In a kind of mean-spirited way. And here we see that he believes that his head is the problem instead of her. See, he's had a comedic sensibility about him from the start. See, these shots, I think they're absolutely brilliant. You don't have to show something being done. You just have to show it from a different point of view where you still understand it from a cinematic perspective. And stuff like that. Interesting transitions. He walks towards the camera with one face and then he walks past. You expect him to sort of have the same face, but no, he's moved on to buy a different one. But this stoush is fascinating. The only person nowadays that I can think of who has a pencil moustache like that is John Waters. No one else. You see, he's destroying himself in a way, and she sees that by trying to be something that he's not to impress, not the girl of his dreams, but what he thinks he deserves. Here we have the first kind of dark sensibility to Alejandro's work. The fact that his body wants to cause himself harm, but his head wants to stay away from that. It's interesting stuff. And I think that sign, I really, really do love that sign. You go from a head selling shop to a hat selling shop. I think these shop owners, they have a perfectly fine shop. I'd rather a shop that sold hats than a shop that sold heads. I think that's the only problem with this woman in the purple dress. All these people are so interesting. I love the stuff with more characters, especially when they're not explained. Just kind of see them and believe that they have their own backstory, and yeah. It's one of my favourite parts of surrealistic storytelling. I've never played checkers with a pear and all apple, so I wonder how that works. And that's the only sense of diegetic sound that we've gotten. That flute playing was him. And I wonder if it was actually Alejandro. Because I know that he plays the flute in El Topo. Interesting composition there. And I do appreciate that for every different scene, it's like a different theme of sorts. Is that a doll's foot? That's such a strange little detail because I know about his fascination with dolls from, I believe, Fando Lis. So I wondered what that could possibly mean. And I wonder, it's the head plopped onto the body, but does the head like have the same soul, the same brain? This homeless character, I think, is the most fascinating, one of the most fascinating parts of it. So that tie of sorts. What, cravat? Is it? That's not a cravat, is it? He associates that with his partner, of course, because at the start she's like pulling it from her leg. The outfits are just wonderful. Beautiful. And then it ends with the soundtrack just ending instead of like a normal fade out. Like that's one thing that always bothered me about. Let's get some better lighting in here. That's something that always bothered me about the opening of Solo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. That opening credits is so perfect in every way, apart from the fact that it fades out right before you get the, how to say, release of tension. It fades out before the song comes back around. I find that extremely infuriating. That reminds me of a joke. I once dreamt of a joke when I was younger. So Hitler is in a... Hitler holds a joke competition for all of his Nazi friends. And they all take turns telling jokes, going up on stage, telling one joke after another. And this one Nazi guy, this one Nazi fella, he goes up and tells a joke. And Hitler has become so outraged by this joke. He finds this joke so either problematic or just not funny in general, that he feels the need to go up on stage and tell this Nazi fellow of his, I don't like that joke. It infuriates me. Okay, so that was, Le Tit Intervite. That was Le Tet Interverti. Also known as the transposed heads, the severed heads, fucking La Cravate. But yeah, definitely an interesting, would you call this a debut? In a way, because I forgot to completely mention the fact that, yes, it may be directed by Alejandro Jodorowsky, but it's also directed by Saul Gilbert and Ruth Micheli. I always find this fascinating to see what else they did on it. So, Alejandro Jodorowsky also in the credits he's cast as Alejandre. He co-directed the film, wrote it, and played a character. Saul Gilbert co-directed the film, played a role in it, produced it, and edited it. And Ruth Micheli co-directed the film, played in it but was uncredited, and was the costume designer. So, would you call that a debut film? I think it was a debut for all of them, pretty much. But yeah, fascinating stuff. I don't know what Saul looks like or what Ruth looks like, but I must have seen them throughout the film somewhere. Yeah. I don't normally rate films. I try to stay out of that whole vile way of doing things. But yeah, that film, I don't feel too strongly on it. It's not a film that I watch for pleasure, but it's a film that I watch more out of intriguement and fascination by it. Because the fact that it's 10 years before his actual debut film, Fando Ellis, makes it kind of an outlier in a lot of directors' catalogues. Took him 10 years to direct another movie, and, well, we'll get to Fando Ellis. I hope. I have a bad time sticking with things, but he is hoping that this one will actually kind of work out. But other than that, it was an enjoyable watch. Yes, it feels like 20 minutes, but 20 minutes isn't long. Um, the set design was fun. The acting was obviously intentionally done. It's not bad acting at all. The music, the quality can get a bit grating on the ears, just because of how old it is and crackly and distorted some of the high notes can get. I think the colors are beautiful. I think the cinematography is well done. I love a lot of some compositions are really wonderful, along with some of the camera movements and transitions. So yeah, damn fine piece of work. Later we will be looking at. I'm not just going to be doing movies. It's going to be music as well. Like I said, with Creedence Clearwater Revival, which means that the next thing I'm going to do is Tommy Fogerty and the Blue Velvets. We'll get into that. We'll see you next time. Fuck off.